on that, obviously not the start of the season you would have wanted. What were your thoughts of today's game?
Yeah, the game itself went in sort of swings and roundabouts. I think for the first 20 minutes, we sort of dominated the half, and I thought we really did sort of put Bitton under pressure. Probably tried too much of the long ball in behind, but if the players feel they saw a weakness, I've got to back their decisions to do that. I think up until half time, I think the game was fairly balanced. And like I said, apart from the sort of spell we had early on, I didn't see Bitton taking anything from it. Second half, obviously they've come out and, they say that you concede most goals just after half time, and that's exactly what happened. If it was under 60 seconds or something like that, we got caught off guard. And they slotted it. And to be fair to them, not taking anything away, they probably could have got another two after that. And Sadie did fantastic to kind of keep us in the game. But just before the game got halted for the rain, I generally thought we were going to get the equaliser, and we were really pushing for it. And you're doing something right when they have to take their best player off to kind of keep you out at the other end.
Obviously, the disruption is one of the main talking points. You were in discussions with the referee and opposition management. What was all going on?
To be fair, the opposition were quite friendly about it, and the referee was fine about it. He just said, for safety, we've got to get everyone in. I said, yeah, that's fine, but I was desperate not to give a result away at that point when we were sort of dominating at that point and only one goal behind. You don't want to be throwing in the towel, especially to the rain. So, I respected the referee's decision, and actually, all due respect to their manager, he could have gone a different way about that, and he could have been pushing for the result to be called and everything like, because the game had already gone past 75 minutes. So he didn't. He was happy to come back out, and I a lot of respect for it, for that from him.
A couple of new faces as well on the bench and in the starting lineup. Can you tell us a little bit about the recruitment you've done this summer?
Yeah, so we did our open training sessions early on. We recruited very quickly. We've got some very talented players, some that weren't even in the squad today. I feel that we're in a much better position than where we were last year. And then just before the season started, we got news of another local team sort of folding, unfortunately, and we took full advantage of that and got another few more players in as well. So our squads are very packed up this year. We've got, I think, 23 for the first team and 22 for the development team. But you'll know from seeing us last year, we had 20 signed on in each team last year, and we'd still occasionally turn up with 15 due to injuries and people being away. So, having 23, isn't the end of the world. It means we get a full squad. But on top of that, there's a lot of quality there and a lot of competition for places, which is what we want across the team. The only thing I would have liked is maybe to get the last few players in maybe 3 weeks earlier, so everyone could have bonded that little bit more. But I think there's a lot of hope for us this year, and the quality of the team, we'll see what happens.
You could have done with a few more friendlies. You had a few cancel on, you understand?
Yeah, it's gutting when you have friendlies booked and you've planned it out. I mean, I don't know how other clubs do it, but I've got a little bit of a method in my structure to friendlies. You've got your friendlies that are there to challenge you, ones that are going to be maybe a little bit a step ahead of you, and then you've got some that you do look at where you play maybe someone from a lower league, and not saying you want to walk out and beat them, but it's the case that it's a little bit less pressure on you. But when you have teams pull out of friendlies at last minutes, you do sit there and go like, oh, you've completely messed with the method there. So I think we had a very good pre-season. We played some very top teams around and they challenged us, but we've just got to keep building and take what we've learned from those games, and hopefully, the results will come, and we're very, very confident that that's going to happen this year.
Yeah, the league campaign starts next week. Lots of new teams. I think a little bit less travelling, thankfully. But what's your overall view on it?
I'm not one who wants to, tempt fate, but I think we are good enough to be challenging this year. Last year, we went into games, we drawed some we shouldn't have drawed, we threw away some results we shouldn't have threw away. The players are fully aware of that. Even against the league champions last year here, where they beat us, I think it was 2-0. Their second goal came after we, in theory, got the equaliser, and looking back on the game, we should have had the equaliser, so it was disappointing. They went straight up the other end and scored. So, not taking anything away from Paul's championship last year, but it's games like that we've got to start solidifying down. I think we are one of the best footballing teams in our league. And I think we see that week in, week out, the ability and the quality and the movement from the players. I think we see that. But it is football at the end of the day, and if the results don't come with it, then, you know, it's not good enough. But this week, I think we did enough. Didn't go our way, but if you're going to do it in the competition. You're not going to make the final in, let's be honest. You know, we weren't going to be playing Man City at Wembley. You know, as much as I'd love to dream, and all the players love to dream, if there was ever a game to do it, this was the one. And then, you know, now we can take our mistakes and go forward to the league and really push to try and win.
Just a final one on the first league game next week against Stockport. You had 168 in there today. We're hoping for similar support to get the league campaign up and running.
Yeah, I mean, we do sort of fluctuate between, I think, 115 and 200 supporters here, but the support from the fans that come here is immense. It does help us a lot, and it does. You do know you're at Swerton Park. We'll go to some other grounds throughout the year, and the support isn't as big for other teams, and you know, unfortunately for them, and you do feel it's very quiet. But when you come here, there's a nice little atmosphere here. Everyone loves coming down, and even the away teams come down and say, you know, how amazing it is to come play here. So, you know, we thank the fans for coming down. We apologise for not getting the result today, but we're going to look to build, and hopefully throughout the season they're going to have some fantastic, entertaining games here, and we can get the numbers up.
We look forward to it. Thanks for chatting to us today.
Thank you very much.